Hey, business building warrior, got a guest coming on the show here in a few minutes. Travis Sears, a guy who's been a coach on our team, built a beautiful business, and then hit a bit of a speed bump. We'll talk about that. I want to make sure and hit the major theme in the introduction right now. We'll probably have the title something along the lines of How to Get 600 ASINs Right Now for Your Amazon Reselling Business. See, what happened with Travis is he had a thriving business. Like I said, he left his job and had a great income from his Amazon selling business. He hit a speed bump. He was doing some stuff that Amazon stopped allowing, which put some major brakes on his business. And then he had a Section 3 review. He got his account back, as he'll share here in a minute. But at that point, he had made so many connections and developed a great set of skills at sourcing ASINs. He was finding between he and his partner way more ASINs than they could ever actually invest in and sell. So because he was a trusted member of our community, he said, how about I just start letting other people have these ASINs? So for a very low cost, he's sharing lists with only 20 people at a time. So you can't get, you're not going to expect to get a list that has, say 50 or 100 other people getting the same thing you are. No, it's small lists. It's very individualized. So small numbers. He would go into why the number 20 is significant and what you can expect if you use his list building service. But he's built an incredible service with a lot of happy clients. He's finding loads of great viable ASINs. He breaks it down today. And the big question that I want to hit, if you haven't heard me talk about this in a while, is, wait, Jim, I thought you were against leads lists. Well, up until about 6 months ago, I was. And now I'm a huge fan of them, especially if they're being run and managed by someone of high integrity, someone who's taking a virtuous approach to finding winning ASINs, creating them with the right purpose being used by the recipient, the seller. You've got to see this not just as a list of stuff that I'm going to go buy right now, but as a starting point for research, for rabbit trailing, for finding great new websites and categories and products and brands. That's how you use a leads list. And you can dump it all right into 3P Mercury. We'll spend some time talking about that today with Travis as well. In a nutshell, if you dump it into 3P Mercury, what that means is you've got software keeping track of all these ASINs, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. We've got people with almost 100,000 ASINs being tracked. So every day they can sit down and say, hey, 3P Mercury, what makes the most sense for me to buy today? And it tells them. And you'll find dozens, hundreds. Some of our students are seeing thousands of viable ASINs available for them to go sell every time they sit down and run a filter. It's pretty incredible. So this is kind of a shortcut today of how to get a lot of ASINs quickly, get them into 3P Mercury. So let's spend some time with Travis, hear his story in his own words. Thanks for spending some time with us today. Enjoy this episode. One last thing before I turn it loose. If you're new to our podcast, you should know that if you scroll back in time, you're going to hear dozens of recent episodes of very successful, proven Amazon course students. That's what we're proud of around here, is the track record of our courses, content, coaching, and creating success stories. And we love to hear from the students who are doing just that. So if you want to be inspired and encouraged and hear real stories, just scroll back. We got dozens of them, hundreds over the past few years of interviews with proven Amazon course students who are doing great. One last thing I almost forgot. There is a discount code that Travis will mention. His website is oaprofitpipeline.com. OA is an online arbitrage, profitpipeline.com. The coupon code is JIM75, JIM 75, the 2-digit number. Type that in, save big money, and get this service rocking for your account. That's enough of an intro. Let's meet my good friend who I see every week at church. I think I probably mentioned that in the interview as well. A really good dude who I really trust. You're going to love getting to know him a little bit better today. Enjoy. So Travis, welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Good to see you, man.
Thank you, Jim. This is probably my third time here.
Is it the third? Okay.
Yes.
I had lost track. You've been such a great leader and been around our community for a long time. Welcome back, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you. So I think we should start with a quick recap, who you are, what you've been up to. I know you well. We go to the same church. I probably mentioned that in the introduction. So we see each other all the time. But just a quick recap of your story and the community, and then we'll jump into what you've been up to lately.
Sure. So my background was as an IT consultant, and I lost my job happily in 2020 and started my business in 2021 selling on Amazon. I progressed through RA, OA, wholesale, and then in 2024, I got into branded bundles, and then branded bundles went away in October of 24. I pivoted to a couple of other things and ultimately found myself in a Section 3 suspension in early 2025 this year, in March, actually. And it was an ordeal. I got through my Section 3 and found myself actually physically disabled. I cannot lift anything with my arms from all the boxes that I have lifted in my warehouse back in 2024 when I was doing my branded bundles. I've torn something in my biceps, but what I did was pivoted. In August, I had a friend come to me and say, Travis, I have got too many ASINs. I have more than I can buy. I have an excess. I have a VA team that is sourcing for me, and I think we can do something with this. And with that came OA Profit Pipeline. Now, for the last 3 years, I've been coaching for your coaching organization. I've had probably close to 100 students go through my program, I guess. And this was one of my coaching students that wanted to partner with me. So I've partnered with this friend of mine who wants to be silent in this partnership. And he's letting me run with this list of ASINs. So that's kind of where I've been and where I am now. I still coach, but I also have this leads list business.
Excellent. Well, hey, before we get into the leads list business with OA Profit Pipeline, there's going to be a link in the show notes. I'm sure I mentioned it in the introduction as well, but I want to wrap up where we're at on that Section 3. Like, what happened? What'd you learn? Are you back? Are you trying to get back? Or did you just take that as a sign that it was time to shift? Like, talk me through that a little bit.
I got my account back the very same week as our conference back in May. And I had a humdinger of a story to tell when I came to the conference. Look at this wood chipper I got through. I survived. You can do it too. If you have a Section 3, it was through the help of Jeff Schick and his team, Leah Maudlin, Luis, and we got through that. What I came away from that with was basically a damaged account. I hadn't sold anything in probably 2 or 3 months. My account health score dropped back down to about 200. And I suddenly found that I was gated in all kinds of things. All of these great categories that I'd been selling in were now closed. It wasn't that I was gated on everything, but this opportunity to do a leads list came up. And I said, I'm at a decision point where I can throw myself back into doing OA with a prep center. I could have done that, but I think I kind of ran out that path with the OA selling and want to try this new adventure. And that's kind of what drives me is new opportunities and just seeing things out to the end. So I still have a healthy account. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to hold on to it because I want to leave doors open. I do have brand registry from my branded bundle days that I could still do a partnership with someone to brand their product and sell it. I have another business that I'm operating that is the PPP model, basically partnering with someone to help brand their board game. That's kind of an exciting thing that I'm working with someone right now. But those are really my two main things: my PPP business and this needs list business.
Excellent. Yeah, I love the bigger lesson here that comes to mind, because you hear about people, they'll get suspended temporarily for a few days and then they're back, or a couple of weeks and they're back. But you have along the way all these relationships that you've been forming and all these people you've met
Yes.
and all these connections and all these different opportunities to where, and I feel like I say this all the time, but I want to emphasize it every chance I get is we're teaching you a reselling model, not so you can be a reseller the rest of your life or rely only on reselling as your only income the rest of your life. We're teaching you this model because one, it's very profitable and lucrative and exciting. And there's going to be some speed bumps. But along the way, you're going to meet some great people. You're going to have doors of opportunity open up to you if you're paying attention and pursuing those relationships. And so here you are, you've got someone paying you to help them launch their product. You've got a partner who is a former student of yours. You're building a great income stream. You've developed a skill set for finding great ASINs and like, hey, you know what?
Yes.
Let's give these to some other sellers since we're so good at it. And that's how the leads list concept was born. And I love that, just that diversified path illustration that you kind of like your story illustrates it very well. I love it. It's ideal. It's not ideal to get suspended for a section 3 and have to wait a couple months to figure things out, but it's great that there's always something, a pivot you can fall back on. And your story certainly illustrates that, Travis. So
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's my story, Jim, and I love it. I love my story. I wouldn't want this life for anybody else. And don't envy what I have because you wouldn't want the struggles that I have had to go through.
Mhm.
You're going to have your own journey to get where you're wanting to go. And these opportunities just pop up here and there. And it's just great to have a network of great people to
Yeah.
reach out to when I get an idea.
Yeah, well, you've pursued that. The only people I'm concerned about are the ones who try to do this as a lone wolf. I don't want to meet anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone ever. I don't need relationships. Just tell me what buttons to push so I can make some money. That's a very risky way to do any kind of business, let alone e-commerce, let alone Amazon replens and reselling and all the other opportunities. Simply because when you do hit a wall, you're going to need some of those relationships to fall back on. So I'm glad we spent some time there because I think it's a way to encourage sellers because we're in such a blue ocean of opportunity that's expanding so rapidly. There's going to be ways to pivot if you learn this skill set. That's the bigger point I'm trying to make. But all right, let's get into this leads list that you're building. I know you've got a few lessons, a few things you wanted to hit today. That was an excellent list. We went through it before we hit record today. So I'm excited to dive in. So in whatever order you're comfortable, let's get into it.
Yeah, sure. So the first question I want to answer is what exactly is a leads list? Now, a leads list is basically you have hired someone else to find your ASINs for you and to provide you a list of leads on a regular, methodical basis. It could be every day of the week. It could be every weekday. It could be like my business. We do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Again, I'm building, well, I said this before we hit record. I'm building a product that I would want to buy, and every other day is about as much ASINs as I would really want to have. Now, what you get when you buy a leads list is, well, a list of ASINs, a list of links to the listings and the sources, some profitability numbers, and some coupons. Basically, everything that you would need to buy either a treasure item, like a treasure find item, or possibly even a replen. Now, you are sharing this with other people, but the thing you need to keep in mind is half the list, probably maybe even better than half that list, is going to be gated in a different way for each person that looks at that list. Why use a leads list? For me, it is all about economics. Hiring a virtual assistant is one way to do that, but it's expensive. You can be paying a good VA to source for you $4 or $5 an hour. That could be $800 to $900 a month, and even $10,000 a year when you take into consideration the 13-month pay period for Filipinos. Now, the other thing that you have to deal with are sick days, weather outages. Weather outages with virtual assistants in the Philippines is a
Common.
constant thing.
Yes.
It's every other week.
Yeah.
They
Typhoons.
have rolling power outages.
Mm-hmm.
You have to deal with the hiring process. What if you get a bad VA and you have to fire them? You've lost time, you've lost money. There's the training. Are they up to the training level that you need for your business? You have to supervise them. If they have discipline issues or performance issues, you have to manage that. If their software stops working, we actually had this happen with one of our VAs. The software stopped working. Their browser seized up, and we found out it was one of the coupon apps that they were installing. It took us 3 weeks to figure that one out. But as a leads list company, we did not let a single one of those things impact our output. If you had a VA, you would be shouldering every one of those bumps and bruises. Now, what you get with a leads list is endless rabbit trail searches. If you find that you are ungated for a brand, you can do brand searches. You'll find news sources that you've never seen before. Stores that you've never heard of will come up on the list, and you can search that store, and you're going to find different things that you'd never even considered. You're going to be introduced to categories that you may not be selling in, where you could do a category search. There's all kinds of types of searches you could do with, like a title search in Keepa. As we've probably talked about more times than we can count, Jim, we've talked about how powerful Keepa is. Keepa and a leads list together is just endless searches, more ASINs than you can ever count. Now, the other thing that we need to ask is, why would you consider partnering with Travis Sears, OA Profit Pipeline? Well, like I said just a little while ago, we are building a product that we would want to buy. We are actually curating these leads 3 times. We have a VA that finds the leads, finds that first match. We have a second highly experienced VA that is reviewing that match, just make sure that it's valid. And then they have my eyes. I am the last person that looks at that lead to make sure that it's profitable at the time, and making sure that it's not a 2-pack and we're sourcing for a single, that kind of thing. So 3 levels of curation. We make sure that the leads are unique. We're not going to send you the same lead 2 weeks in a row. We're not going to send you the same lead 2 months in a row. I'm making sure that what my VAs are sending me is unique. We are also capping the number of people on our list at 20. That was the number we felt was good to keep it unique, along with that idea that everyone is gated in a different way for that list, and you're not going to see as much competition that way with 20.
And everyone uses leads lists differently too.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll have different budgets, and different ones will be more attractive to them. So yeah, 20 is a good solid number. And how often does it come out? How often do you get a new list?
We get a new list every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we have 3 flavors. We have our mixed category leads list that comes out, like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It is a different category for each ASIN. It is a different supplier for each ASIN. It gives you a variety of leads. And then that's 8 leads that I'm providing. But then if there is anything like my VA found this past week a deal on shoes, and she gave me the same brand of shoes 15 times. I put one of those on my main list, and then I created a bonus category on my list where I put the rest, those other 14 pairs of shoes. So today, what I'm doing is about 8. I give 8 leads with 4 bonus leads that are those extras, but that list will spill. So normally it's about 12 leads on average per day that I publish. But today on Monday, December 15th, I think I published about 20 leads in that leads list for the mixed category. The second list that I have is a beauty hazmat list. Now, beauty hazmat is special in that it's half beauty, half hazmat. So that's 4 beauty and 4 hazmat. It always has 4 hazmat and 4 beauty in it. And then the bonus section where things spill over. And I'll give at least 4 bonus leads there. But it is a little bit higher price because we found that these items are a little more likely to become replens. They're a little more likely to be higher profitability. And there are more advanced sellers that like these categories, that prefer to do something that no one else is doing. And then the third type of list that I have, Jim, is a break-even database builder. It is 200 ASINs that I publish every Monday that have fallen off the other 2 lists. So if it is not profitable enough, I put it on the break-even list. In fact, I've tasked my VAs with finding these break-even situations. So it may be about 0 profit, it may be in the negatives, but it's providing a large number of ASINs at a low price per month. What it does is gives you basically something, well, it leads into my 4th point, and that is, why would OA Profit Pipeline partner with 3P Mercury? Well, 3P Mercury is the game changer. It makes this break-even list of 200 valuable. It actually takes that list and makes it so that you can find all the winners, not just tomorrow on Tuesday, but every day of the week. You can search that list and see how the price on Amazon has changed. You can see how your personal account has changed in gating with the gate check feature. You can gate check every ASIN in your leads list at the snap of a button. And it has just been a game changer. What else?
Something else I want to point out about that 200 that we talked about before we hit record today, Travis, is that is only going to that same 20 people. So every list you're talking about has a 20-person cap.
Yes.
So that list is the same thing that other people are getting, but there's only 20 people getting it. And when you talk about dumping it into 3P Mercury, that has become the strategy that so many of us are so excited about, of just letting the software track your ASINs, dump them in. Some people struggle, say, where am I going to find them? Okay, here's 200 a week. And sure, a handful of other people are getting that same 200. But over time, gating and categories and your preferences in products, et cetera, it's going to become a very unique catalog of ASINs that are being tracked by 3P finding them anywhere and everywhere. And something that you pointed out that I'd like to hear you speak to for a minute, and I've got to wrap up I've got about 15 more minutes tops if we need it before
Okay.
something else comes on my calendar, just to give you a heads up. But was, do leads lists make sense without 3P Mercury? You mentioned that. And I don't know if you were going to get to that, but I wanted to
Yes.
remember because I was
Yes.
excited to hear your thought on that. And I haven't heard your
That
thoughts there.
Jim, that's a great point. Thank you for reminding me. It Yes, you can do a leads list without 3P Mercury, but for me, if I were a seller, it makes no sense whatsoever to do a leads list without 3P Mercury. We are hunting a moving target. What I look at on my leads list when I'm building it is where that price is in that moment on Sunday night when I was building my leads list for Monday morning. These things are moving targets, and 3P Mercury is tracking that price day by day as you're watching it. And it's just amazing what pops up out of the list that I thought was not that great. I thought when I first created my break-even list, Jim, I said this is just garbage, but I'll throw it into 3P Mercury, see what happens. And it came back with 25% of those ASINs had $5 profit or better.
Right. At buy box. Boring,
At,
easily.
at buy
Yeah.
box.
Justified. Right.
The second list I looked at, it was 50%. 50% of it had better than $5 profit. Now, again, I was gated on quite a few of the categories and quite a few of the brands. And I was able to use 3P Mercury to sort that list for what I was ungated for, what I was approved and eligible for, and what was profitable. And I could have made quite a few purchases off of my list. But like I said in the intro, I'm not selling right now. I'm just doing this. But it was just like a watershed moment that maybe what I was doing with this break-even list was bigger than I had realized.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you went down that route. We're at the point now where we couldn't have said that 2 years ago. We couldn't have said any viable ASIN that has a source, track it. It could be gold someday. Because for us to say that 2 years ago would have meant a ridiculously difficult manual process with a huge team of virtual assistants, maybe going through massive spreadsheets of ASINs to check to see if they made sense today or not. Well, that's what 3P does. So now any ASIN that has a source is worth tracking. And as you're discovering some of these, I'm excited about, I would almost want a list of price tanked ASINs. Give me all the price tanked ASINs. And I'm just going to focus on just those. The ones
Yeah.
that were great a month ago, and now there's 50 sellers and everyone's running for the hills and dropping their price. Give me a list of only those.
Right. Right. And
And I know
3P
if
could
I
do
wait
that.
3 or 4 months,
Yeah.
20, 30% of them are going to be ridiculously profitable winners. And if I've got a system for combing through them every day, just hit a button and the software is doing the work. Yeah, it starts to make a lot of sense. Collect ASINs. And so you've got a service now. Well, hey, here's where you can buy it. Here's the source. It's close to break even right now, which means it's probably going to be profitable at some point. Let's keep an eye on it using 3P. So yeah, to answer the question, does it make sense to use a leads list without 3P? Well, yeah, it can. And I call it the two different ways to do replens. I don't know if that episode's been published yet or not, but we've talked a lot about it lately. There's the old way of like, I got to find something profitable right now. Oh, there's a winner, a clearance item. I got it. I'm going to make some money. I'm excited. I found something winning today. That's method one. And we've got people who have built great businesses, Travis, as you know, with method one, just always looking for winners. Brian and Robin Joy called that the hunting method. Whereas what we're talking about now is the building method. Let's build a massive catalog, dump it into 3P. We even see students right now, Travis, what they're doing is they don't even buy anything. They spend a month or two not even buying anything, just looking for ASINs.
Mm-hmm.
and dumping them into 3P. And then on that magical day, when they hit the filter button, we had one guy popped up with nearly 4,000 viable ASINs the first time he ran a filter in 3P. It's like, I'm never going to be able to buy all these. They were all at least $5 profit, all had winning metrics, right? The challenge, if there's one big lesson I want people to take from our time today, Travis, besides, hopefully signing up for your great service, if they're a good candidate for it, it's there's more winning products out there than you can ever possibly hope to get to. And they're not hiding. They really aren't. It's a matter of having a good system and a good process. And I loved your comparison today too, comparing using a VA and the responsibility there. And it's kind of in my mind, almost like, do I want to have my own prep or do I want to use a prep center? Using a prep center frees up your time. It's someone else's problem to buy box tape. It's someone else's problem if it's raining outside and the truck pulls up. It's someone else's, right? Like that's the equivalent of using a lead list. It's like, let's make it someone else's problem to do that part, especially maybe as you're ramping up. But even for the veteran, why not have someone else doing that? Specialization, the law of specialization. Well, was there anything else you wanted to hit? This is a great episode, man. And I know we've talked about leads lists, 2 or 3 times in the past, I'd say 4 or 5 months, simply because I've never been a fan of them at all until starting about 6 months ago. And now I'm a huge fan of quality leads lists with someone of integrity running the program, which you obviously are, someone we trust running the program. And it's a huge opportunity for the right candidates. But anything else on your mind?
Sure. Can I drop an offer?
Please. Yeah, let's do. And this will be in the show notes too.
Yeah. I want to offer anyone who signs up for the database, the break-even database builder subscription, I'm going to offer you 600 break-even ASINs as a bonus for signing up. And I'm going to do this until I can't do it. I'm not going to put a limit on this. And like we said just a little while ago, if I hit 20 subscribers on this list, I'm just going to start a second list. If I hit 40 subscribers, I'm going to start a third list. I basically have a formula for scaling that is going to allow me to do that without interruption. And again, want you to take comfort in not having a VA because I'm dealing with the VA.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the power outages and the sickness and everything else that comes, the software problems. I'm dealing with that. And you don't have to. So that's my first deal. My second deal is $25 off the mixed category leads list for 3 months. And I'll give Jim the discount code to put in the show notes. I'll just say Jim 75. Jim 75.
JIM 75 is the coupon code to save some cash to get the special deals. And what's the website? I mentioned it in the intro,
yes.
I'm sure, but
OAProfitpipeline.com.
Right.
OAProfitpipeline.com.
Very good. Very good.
And then one last tip from an experienced seller here. Everybody thinks, looking at the calendar, Q4 ends on December 31st. It actually bleeds into January. You think about it. All of those Amazon gift cards are dropping on Christmas Day, going home, and they're going to be spending those gift cards in January. So don't let off the throttle. Don't stop shipping. Keep feeding the beast.
Yeah, and it's a year-round business. It really is. There's so much opportunity out there. Yeah, excellent. Well, it's been time well spent today, man. I really appreciate you and always appreciate your heart for the community. And it's no surprise to me that you've pivoted and found a way to serve with integrity and value in this group. So love working with you, Travis. And I think I'm going to cut it off right there. I got to jump on another call, but it's really good to see you, man. And excited for folks to jump out there to oaprofitpipeline.com. Use the coupon code JIM, JIM, JIM75 It saves yourself some cash. That 600 lead offer, I mean, some people can be hopping on that, man. I hope we just bury you to the point where you're like, oh, sorry, had to pause
That's
service.
that's the plan.
Because
That's the plan.
it is a great deal, man. So, all right, God bless you, my friend, and Merry Christmas. And I think I'm going to cut it off right there. Good to see you, buddy.
Great. Thanks, Jim.
Bye for now.